The purpose of archives is to keep an official documentation of people's lived experience. And any institution that receives government funding is obliged to have and to keep its records. So one of the things I find particularly interesting is that the National Archives of Australia has legislation that requires all government documents to be handed over to it. It becomes the custodian of official government documents. It is quite literally holding the government to account by saying, we hold your immediate past, we know what you've done, and anyone can come in and have a look at those records pretty much and find out what's going on. So, you know, there are traces and clues of our lives all over the world, all over Australia, in these different archival institutions that we can find out about, including school. There are a few other things I really love about working with archives, and one is this intimate encounter that you have with people who are otherwise so distant from you. There is something so almost sacred for me about being able to touch a piece of paper that's had the hand of a historical person rub across it as they've left their handwriting, and the humanity, the vulnerability, the fragility of their handwriting and their personalities. And being a history detective, you know, to go into those spaces and discover something about that person that nobody else knows, and then to discover a story that nobody else knows. And in Australia, we are in an incredibly fortunate position that we're still discovering stuff that nobody else has looked at. So often in European history, for example, those documents have been very well trammeled by historians for quite a long time. But here, we have whole institutions where I think, you know, you can pretty safely say that only another archivist has looked at that collection. So you can get your history detective on and go into those spaces and really be, you know, a frontiers person, finding things out for the first time. Well, that is thrilling to know that you're the first person having that encounter, and that you're literally, your fingers are touching through to that person in that moment. You can hear their voices, you can feel their emotions. It's just incredible.